It's like before I judge. It's like I don't want to. It's like I don't want to say anything. As someone who's been a part of the LGBT since like '08, dear, we're saying things here. We're saying things here. But what exactly are we saying? Maybe who knows? Maybe she's just a hater. We don't know. I mean, I know I've reacted to her videos before. Maybe she's just a hater, or maybe she has some valid points. Who knows? But I guess we'll figure out. It's like, I guess we'll figure out, bro. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing. That's why I was like. That's why I saw this and I was like, what? Let me at least let me at least take a look before I'm just like, well, I don't want to jump to any conclusions. And I'm glad that you made a video so you can actually take a look.
In June 2025, companies that once turned their logos into rainbows are now withdrawing their financial support from the upcoming Pride parades. Target no longer has their merch at the front of the store. Instead, they replace it with t-shirts for the 4th of July. It's hilarious because it's both a symbolic and literal representation of putting America first. Where there was once rainbows and Pride slogans, there's now American flags. This shift was pretty predictable. I've made several videos over the years about how identity politics...
It's like depending on who you are and how you think about it. Yeah, like, I mean, really, look, Pride, whatever, I don't actually care. You know, I kind of want to go to one myself, kind of want to go to a Pride parade just to see it for myself, because all I can go off of is what people are saying. So some people are like, it's the worst thing ever, and then some people are like, yeah, it was nothing like this. So it's like, all right, might as well figure out for myself. But also, I mean, I found it to be pandering. You know what I mean? I found it to be pandering. It's like, hey, look, this is how you guys live, and we're fully supportive of that, but only for this month. It's like, all right, dude. What's that Pride falling off? Hey, I don't know. There's still a shit ton of this video left to go, so we'll figure it out. Because yeah, obviously can't be this. Just because they pulled their financial support doesn't mean that Pride's falling off, but there has to be something else to it than just this.
Politics and Pride parades were damaging the public perception of the LGBT community. And with recent stats showing that people's support for gay marriage has dropped considerably, it's not hard.
Which is actually insane. I was not expecting that one. I'm not gonna lie to you. But hey, I don't know. I don't put it out there all that often unless the topic is like approached. Or in an instance like this where I brought up the topic, then I'll talk about it. But I mean, other than that, whatever, dude. You do you. I don't get what you're doing, but
why. When a culture is created around the idea that you shouldn't care what other people think of you, it sounds really good in theory. Just be yourself, live your life, don't worry about anyone else's opinions. When you take this ideology to an extreme, you end up with people naked on the street. It's this exact disregard for the public opinion that damaged our reputation. While many in this community hold the position that we shouldn't care whether or not our actions are deemed acceptable by the public, I hold the opposite position. I say we have a responsibility to show the public that we want to act equally, be treated equally, and don't expect any special treatment. The LGBT movement started out as simple as wanting everyone to mind their own business about what was happening in our bedrooms. And yet now everyone's yelling from rooftops, look at what I do in my bedroom. You lost the plot. And we lost the public when LGBT became more associated with degeneracy than it did with equality. Pride parades have unfortunately become associated with hypersexualization and ideological agendas, even though this was not the original intention of these events. It was supposed to be a celebration of our freedoms, not a public display of fetish. But unfortunately it got co-opted by a bunch of people who we can all agree were acting inappropriately.
Fight back, smash gay oppression. Parents something unite support for our children, I'm assuming. And well, that's kind of crazy.
Really? I understand that a majority of Pride attendees aren't partaking.
I was about to say, again, I've never been to one. I've only heard what people have said. But if people are naked walking through the streets, that is a little weird. It's like that. I feel like that's a little weird.
This behavior, but the majority of media does not have this same understanding. Allowing this type of behavior at these events is damaging to the image of the entire community, even if it is only showing the extreme minority, which is why I almost feel relieved to finally see Pride Month falling off. Most of us don't want to be the center of attention and have been anxiously waiting for the day when the alphabet soup discourse would become old news. An unnecessary amount of attention has been drawn to this community, making the problems within it that much worse. It should not be a controversial take to say that your gender identity and sexuality should not be the sole dictators of your belief system. You can be a gay conservative. You can be a straight tomboy.
You know, interestingly enough, as I know like 6 gay conservative people. And like a lot of the gay people that I do meet are all conservative, which I found kind of interesting. But I mean, I don't know. They do what they do.
There's unlimited variation in the human condition, and anyone trying to convince you otherwise has an agenda. The constant pushing of people to adopt the stereotypical beliefs of what it means to be straight or gay is what's truly regressive. Don't let them gaslight you into thinking that their way is the only way. My comment section loves to call me a pick-me, but the truth is that this community needs people like me pushing back against the mainstream LGBT narrative, because people will respect us so much more when we're seen as singular individuals as opposed to a homogenous group. Not all gay people want queer ideology taught in elementary schools. Not all trans people believe that you should lose your job because you use the wrong pronouns. It's the most extreme of us that get the majority of the publicity and attention, but it is absolutely not representative of the majority. Many US corporations this year stopped supporting pride events that celebrate.
It's funny because this is the same type of rhetoric that people have for like literally anything else. It's like it's not just because just because you see nothing but X do something doesn't mean all of that X is that thing. So yeah, it's interesting to see that no matter what group you are a part of, this shit always seems to fly any which way you want to go, which is, it's very annoying, but also leave, I guess. So I left the LGBT. I just fucking left. I just like stopped paying attention to it, and I just didn't bother with it. And then when I came back, it was this. Look, whatever. I mean, y'all do what you want to do. Because, like, I'm not gonna say just because I'm seeing. Well, when I say seeing, it's all online. It's never actually in person. But when I'm seeing, quote unquote, this extreme stuff, I'm not saying that's everyone. But it is kind of interesting that that is the only thing I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Celebrate LGBTQ plus culture and rights, raising questions about corporate America's commitment to the cause. The moves come as President Donald Trump has attempted to roll back some LGBTQ plus friendly federal policies. This article goes on to yap about how it's all Trump's fault, but it doesn't address the real culprit of the declining support. It's important to decentralize Trump from the conversation because it's not Trump, it's the people that voted for him for reasons just like this. There's a cultural narrative around the extreme progression of the LGBT movement that drove a majority of American voters to choose Trump in the first place. You're not getting a pushback from the Trump administration, you're getting a pushback from the majority of the population. Companies are resourceful. They are clever at identifying trends and studying their environment and their customers' needs. But those needs change and corporations adjust. Yeah, this is just a professional way of saying that companies will do whatever it takes to make more money in the moment. I made a whole—
Yeah, it's literally like that for Black History Month, Hispanic Heritage Month. Native American Awareness Month, I think, was a thing at one point. They do that for literally any holiday. So, like, Valentine's Day might as well be just that, but, like, the only thing it's for. So, it's weird that people thought that, oh yeah, the company has to care about this. Like, remember, no one likes billionaire corporations. No one is like them. So just because they have a pride flag on it doesn't mean that they actually give a fuck about you. So I don't know how people fell for that one, but yeah,
whole video about this exact subject. When you try to force your beliefs onto someone and gaslight them that any other way of thinking is immoral and dangerous, you don't change their honest beliefs. You don't give them a cause to fight for. All you're giving them is an incentive to lie. You're giving them a bandwagon to jump on, a trend to follow. So as soon as the mainstream narrative changes, as soon as the trend switches, all of it crumbles. You think you've made a change, but you've only proven how easy you are to fool. A growing slice of the public has grown tired of companies taking a stance on social and political issues. So-called brand activism reached its peak between 2016 and 2022, a period of social upheaval around the pandemic, police brutality, and transgender rights. But research has since found a growing number of American consumers don't want companies taking positions on such topics. Yeah, no shit. People want to be able to sip a beer without Dylan Mulvaney's goofy face on it. There have always been people who said, I don't want—
I mean, fair enough. I guess people do care, but I mean, most of the people I know don't give a single fuck. Like, I don't care. Like, I wasn't gonna buy Bud Light regardless, and just because they put some person's face on it, I wasn't gonna buy it anyway. But I mean, hey man, if enough people vote with their wallet, they vote with their wallet. So
my toothpaste to have an opinion. I just want to use my toothpaste. But the tide has shifted and research shows there are more people that feel this way now. Did you really need research to figure that out? People are tired of everything being over politicized. We want to sip on our favorite soda without it being a political statement. Rick Gomez, Target's chief commercial officer, told reporters that it's important to celebrate heritage months. They drive sales growth for us. Do you really think these companies ever gave a solitary fuck? Of course not. These corporations will go wherever the money is. They have no desire to be involved in controversy or get caught holding an unpopular opinion in fear of alienating their customers. There was a viral post made on X responding to the graph that shows acceptance of same-sex marriage has declined significantly.
I am winning just a little bit.
It took us 9 years to go from "we just want to get married" to "we will steal your children from you and mutilate them if they claim to be transgender." No one can argue that gay marriage didn't pave the way for this. One of my greatest regrets in life is supporting this abomination when I was libertarian in my 20s. This entire thing should be outlawed everywhere. This post is both...
That's a bit of a harsh opinion, I'm not gonna lie. That's a little harsh. Fucking hell.
Nonsensical and incredibly disappointing, but with almost 30,000 likes, it reveals the reality of how many people view LGBT issues. People do not appreciate how quickly and forcefully queer ideology has escalated. We went from gay marriage to threatening people's jobs that were being misgendered in the span of just a few years. People were fine with allowing others to do their thing as long as it didn't affect them, but now it does. I recognize that most straight people, most Republicans even, don't hold this position. Most people still support gay marriage. Most people don't have an issue with the LGBT, but with the continuous escalation of the rest of the alphabet. Still, several people responded to this post, reinforcing the idea that gay marriage opened the doors for more extreme ideologies. Someone sensible responded to this by saying, "Or you could ban kids' transgender surgeries and have gay marriage at the same time," to which the OP replied,
"No, we
tried that and I'm no longer interested in half measures." To the guy who said this, and for the other 14% of Republicans who no longer support gay marriage, I understand what's led you here. But just like you don't want to be categorized and stereotyped, neither do we. Not all gay people want to see kids at drag shows. Not all trans people believe that minors should be able to undergo surgical transition. These common stereotypes are often misrepresentations of the majority opinion. I'm sure you understand this concept as you've had your own share of controversies that people continuously bring up as if it represents the majority of the group. Don't let
this entire thing sounds like it's everyone's kind of tired, so everyone just immediately wants to go with the extremes to get it done and over with, but they don't realize that doing stuff like that makes everything worse for everyone else everywhere else. Again, this is essentially like the what was that other fucking thing people were talking about like two weeks ago, black fatigue or some bullshit like that? I don't know, dude. It's just it's so tiring. It's literally no different. It's like we don't want to be stereotyped as this, so don't do that. But then all they keep seeing is that, because that's all anyone reports on is like the extremes. Because if you report regular, normal people, which is the majority of Americans, it doesn't get clicks, so no one knows about it. So it's the same thing, just fucking gay people.
The extremists ruin the freedom of everybody else in this community.